Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, I got to get high altitude for this one because there's so many of them in here. But I'd like to take this time right here to thank Toby and Kids because they are the ones that sent me the majority of these BPS knives before the war started. So before they were really popular and everything, basically turned me on to how great these knives are. And I have a recent addition to that. Oops. Oh, guess what? It's 3 in the morning, and I dropped a flashlight, a big heavy flashlight, on the floor, and it didn't land on the carpet. It landed on the tile, and that's directly below where somebody, like a clown boy, might be sleeping. That wasn't intentional. It really wasn't, but you know, I find that amusing. But yes, these are amazing, amazing knives for the price that you get them. Now the price has gone up slightly, but I mean it's justifiable considering what they've been going through as a company. But I don't have, I didn't stick with them, with continuing to buy these knives or stuff. Most of them, like I said, were sent to me, and they really have a wide variety of different types of knives. Now, with what I like about the steel, it's 1066 carbon. It's mentioned on the blade on this one right here. Carbon steel 1066 made in Ukraine. They come very well oiled like this, and the shine on these is so good. The polish on these is so good. It's almost like chrome, because I mean, this is just from sitting in the sheath without being oiled. You can tell I've been carving fat wood with it and stuff like that. It hasn't corroded. Um, Anyways, this is a smaller knife right here. It has some attachments here that you could, put a lanyard on it and hang it from your neck. We'll get the dimensions out right, in a second. But I just wanted to show you that the leather looks like it's a little bit darker. It's a different color. It used to be you would get brown or black from them, like a darker type brown or a black. This is a little, they call it mushroom knife. I think that's what they called it. But it was pretty cool. It has a little, dangle it from your sheath. And here we're getting kind of smaller. This is like the Kephart kind of like looking blade. They would make it, and they'd make a bigger one, and then they'd make a smaller one. I don't know all the names of all of these. Some of them are. This is closer to what we're working with right here. It's like a smaller version of it, but it's still different. It has more of a point. It's about like an inch smaller. The handle's a little bit smaller. All in all, though, of course, I got smaller size hands, but still, like I said, I wear a size 8 glove in the United States, so that's, small to a medium, either one of those. Sometimes small doesn't fit my hand well, it gets too tight, and medium is about alright, but if I start wearing large or extra large, I got a lot of room to move around with. You know how gloves are. We all know how gloves work. But you can see this is more of a straight, this has got kind of like a, a downward curve to it. This is more straight. I like little knives, man. I like big knives, but I like little knives because all of your force and all of your work is right here. I haven't used this one yet, I just got it, and like I said, recently, a lot of other things have been on my mind recently, a lot of other things, that I'm trying to get my mind off of. But we'll get down to the measurements and everything of this. But again, what I like about a small knife, it's not super small. You know, it's not like a little tiny blade or anything. You know, you don't have. What's good about this one too is, man, it's so ergonomic. You can get your whole hand on there. If you do a lot of working with stuff, how well a knife handle fits your hand can make a lot of difference on fatigue. If it's got a lot of room to squirm around and you're doing stuff like that, that adds up to calluses, or your hand you're having to grip it extra hard just to control it. You know, this you just hold it in a natural manner. Um, but yeah, they basically have excellent knives, well made. I have no problem with the steel. I haven't had any issues with chipping or edge rolls, even with Scandi grinds. You know, the problem with the Scandi grind, it goes down to 0, and that's pretty thin. You don't have a lot of meat behind it protecting the edge. So, man, if you get a chip, you're taking out a big section of metal. And like I said, of course, I'm not abusing them. I'm not doing torture tests on my knives and stuff. My abuse is maybe neglect. You know, not looking at them often enough and finding rust or something. But yeah, like I said, this is a excellent company. Pretty good knives. All of these are usually under $50. They've come out with some more, you know, different handles like G10 and stuff. They got some tactical line. Where's the little neck knife? I like this little neck knife. I just wrapped it with bank line. But when I originally got it, it was friction fit that you could wear it upside down like that. And that's only for like quick grabbing and use, you know, like whee. But for some stupid reason, I loosened it up. Oh, that's too tight. And then, no, it's not really. I mean, if you're walking and everything, you could easily lose that. So I switched it around to this type of carry, which is more practical. You know, it just holds the knife up. And, you know, sometimes we overthink things. I need a neck knife, you know, to attack me, you know, protect me from a bear attack. You know, like here in Texas. The only bear attack is going to happen is if one escaped from a zoo and he probably wants your bag of peanuts or whatever, you know, because he's a zoo bear. He's not a wild bear. And if you're down to a neck knife against a bear attack, man, if you live through it, please do a story on it, because it's going to be amazing if you live through it, you know. All you're going to do with a small knife against a bear is enrage it a little bit more, maybe. You know, it gets cuts like that probably from its cub playing around with it, you know. Bears are huge. Anyways, I don't know how we got off into bears, but small knives are nice, and we need to get a little measurement going on here so we know what I'm talking about when I say. All right. So a 3 1/4 inch cutting edge type of blade, and about a 3 1/2 inch blade overall. Let's see what the whole length is here. You can look down below if you want to metricize yourself. So yeah, we got. I like checking. This is where millimeters come in handy. You don't have to go with a bunch of fractions of. We don't have to go down to sixteenths. All right, we can go into millimeters and say that it looks like it's got about a 2 millimeter thing. You don't want them too thick. You know, I mean, you can make a thing, make it this wide, but then you've got an axe, right? The thinner the blade, the better it's going to cut. And I'll have to add some more to this. This is just the talking phase, you know, the desktop phase. I'm going to try to actually get into some cutting with it, you know, show you how it cuts and everything else, but I just wanted to get the measurement in there. And let me get a scale so we can weigh it. Everything's buried around here. Couldn't find my scale. Are we going to try knife only? Looks like about 2.5 ounces. If we're in ounces. I hope we're in ounces. Change your mode. Let me look at this where I can see it. 71.34 grams. Grammages. $98 grams. I think it's because of the way it's sitting. This might be ounces. Yes, it's ounces. 3.48. 3.5 ounces for the whole package. So it's a nice little small package. Like I said, it doesn't come with a clip or anything like that, but it's pretty obvious what you could do right here. You can put some bank line or paracord or animal entrails, whatever you want to use, you know, to help this. Or it could just slip in your pocket. You know, it's a nice little small package. In the military cargo pockets, it slips in, and I still got like 2 inches to spare before anything's sticking out the top. You got a little lanyard hole here also. But yeah, nice little knife. Nice little knife. You can do a lot with the little knife. Once again, you know that saying that a big knife can do anything that a little knife can do, but a little knife can't do everything that a big knife can do. All right, you know, have fun with that, but it's not true, because you try, a big knife can do what this little knife can do, but you try doing that for a while. You take a big old Bowie knife, you know, like Case Bowie, and try to use it for fine little tasks for a while. Well, yeah, you can do it, but it's just not the right tool for the job. I don't understand this, you know. I don't care where you're at or whatever you've got. That knife is not the perfect knife for everything. Whatever you found it might be perfect for the task that you found using it for, or multitude of tasks, but an all-around knife is probably going to be lacking in certain areas. That's why we have specialties. That's why everything is specialized a lot of times, is because certain shapes work better for certain things. All we're doing really is trying to cut stuff. It's really just an edge, whatever kind of edge you want, how big it is you want, and how well it fits your hand. See? I got a lot of extra room here. This is almost like a hand and a half for me. But you know, this is made for a little bit. I can get back here. Now I've got more leverage if I want to do some chopping for some reason, you know. But is this a perfect thing for like fine little detailed work? Yeah, you could do it, but see, look how far the edge is from my thumb because it's so wide. I'd like to work down here, you know, and the tip, it's way out here. What if I want to do something with the tip, you know? You're better off having a smaller knife. All right? And even this one may be too large for you. Maybe you want to get smaller with that, you know? Just keep going down until you find the right knife for the right job. So there you go. I'll put some... I got to stop running my mouth because I got to put some cutting in this. I got to allow some room for that because I can't have my videos too long, or it takes forever to upload, and they don't like me doing that. Thank you for watching, and watch this next segment. Well, I had to take over Shadow's drinking spot just to show you this little PBCO in action here. If you hear a lot of people tell you that Scandi grinds are no good for food prep or anything like that and stuff, I don't know where they get that idea. I can understand that it wedges, you know. I mean, so if you're trying to cut tomatoes or something, you're not going to get maybe as thin of a slice. But if you know how to cut, and you know how to pull it along, I think it could cut tomatoes perfectly fine. Now, most people normally pull the skin off chicken rather than cut it. But I reach a point where I've got to trim it, you know. And the reason I'm pulling this off, they say that if you give, this is cat food that I found. I almost have to do this because Shadow, he's crazy, man. If the food doesn't meet his selection just right, he lets me know about it. Not just like talking about it, he'll bite me. And I mean, you can tell he's biting almost hard enough to draw blood. He's not just a little play biting. He's annoyed biting. You know, like it's a cat fight almost about to happen. You know, I haven't quite. But he's crazy. I have to tell him, sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm out of money. I don't have any cat food. You know, but I found some. I found a packet of salmon, pink salmon, and he loved that. And so that calmed him down. Then he wanted out and like good, which is, you know, they say like, you know, if you die, you know, a cat will eat you. Well, a dog would too. But I have no doubt about it. If Shadow were in here and I were to croak suddenly, I'd probably be the first thing on his list to chew on. You know, which I wouldn't mind it. You know, I'd be dead. I wouldn't care. Now, if I was partially alive, partially dead. Anyways, I don't have to do all this, you know, peel it off the bone and all that. I'm just playing around with the knife. But yeah, it's a nice little knife. I'm not a food prep specialist for anybody, you know, that watches this and says, you're doing that wrong. Probably, yeah, I probably am. But I'm just trying to get the meat out of it here. We'll skip the bone because I don't feed them the bones. I should throw the bone out. I saw that dog running around the other day, blue, and he had something in his mouth. And I was chasing him on the scooter to see what it was. I thought he had a toy, you know, like a kid's toy or something. It was a bag of chips, a partially eaten bag of chips. This could take forever, and I'm not really doing much cutting, so. Anyways, it does a fine job of cutting. Let's see, the ligament get cut. Cut your ligament, a tendon. Cut that tendon. Cut it, cut it. Slippery. There we go. But yeah, the handle is ash, I believe. I'm looking at the description of it. I did a tabletop review of it earlier, but I wanted to put some cutting in there, some cutting. And then I on the action cam, I was sitting out there and I was going to do some cutting with it, and I got carried away with a magnifying glass and started trying to set fire to a cotton ball with a magnifying glass. So that video didn't have any cutting to it. Peel the skin from your flesh. These guys could probably use a little bit of this fat, but I don't know. Who knows? You know, when they say don't feed raw meat, you know, to cats and animals and stuff like that. When they go out in the wild, they have raw animals and stuff. But I think that's actually, this meat right here is probably more contaminated than a raw, you know, than a live kill, because it's been through a food processing plant or something. And if one chicken goes through the bath that's got salmonella, they all get coated with salmonella as they get dipped in it. They don't change that water very often. I've seen food processing plants for chickens, and man, a lot of it's automated. Just pull your flesh apart. This is going to take too long, but my hands are all icky and I don't want to touch the bone now. Icky! Your hands are all icky! It's not icky, it's just raw flesh. It's like doing... You're a surgeon, you gotta get in there and dig the bullet out. What is this? I gotta get it out of the way. That's my liver! You don't need it. It's perforated anyway. Alright, time for a knife. Quit pawing at it like you're a tiger or something and cut it with a knife. Look at that. Just slice. Slice. It slices into the bone pretty easily, too. We know you're all stuck up over here by the... Let go, ligaments. Let go. My tendons. My tendons. Sorry, sir. This hip replacement's going quite well. Don't you think, doctor? Anesthesia. We forgot anesthesia. Sorry about that. Mr. Anderson. Sorry. There we go. That's good enough for that one. Man. Good thing you don't work at a fast food restaurant, man. They'd be waiting for their stuff. Yeah, they'd be waiting for a while, wouldn't they? This is for kitties. It's for cats. It's not for humans. They eat better than I do. I haven't been eating that much. I've lost weight too. I haven't reached my expiration date yet. Looking at that salmon. It was past its expiration date, but you know. It was fine. There's nothing wrong with it, I can tell. Shadow had no problem eating, and he's picky. If you give him if you have 9 lives, there's meaty bits and prime fillets. Both of them are like chicken. One of them he likes, one of them he doesn't like. And it's like, they're made by the same company. What? And then sometimes he does like them. So you think, okay, he doesn't like that. He'll never eat it. He's crazy, man. He's a crazy cat. And then Buddy came in today. I think he doesn't like he's an antisocial cat. He doesn't like a lot of other cats around. He doesn't hang around with a lot of them. And if there gets to be too many cats around, he just skips it. He says, all right, I'm just not going to hang around here if there's too many of you. Well, a lot of that's cut down because I haven't been feeding him as much, the strays. I'm just feeding Buddy, Shadow, and GE pushes her way in sometimes. Like she did today. She wanted to come in with Buddy and eat, and I'm like, I'll let him eat. She pushes her head. She's kind of friendly, like Buddy's sitting here eating. She pushes her head and just pushes him right out of the way, out of the bowl. And he just, he's kind. He doesn't put up with any crap from other cats, but he switched to another bowl. He moved over and let her have it. But man, he gets in a fight with other cats if they look at him sideways. All right, we got to cut a tendon here. We need some tendon cutting. That'll be our storytelling about cats. Watch that finger. There we go. Isn't it weird, all these tendons and stuff on here? Ligaments, tendons. I preheated the air fryer for this. I'm going to use the air fryer. I was going to boil it, but it takes a while. Boil, and I got to sit here and watch it. Could use the water, though, to feed them, too. If you boil chicken, that broth would be... They'd love that. He'll even turn his nose up at this after a while, man, if you keep feeding him chicken. I found that out one time. I had chicken thighs and chicken drumsticks and everything. And these are the hardest ones to prep for your meal here. All right, I gotta go get my basket and turn it off. But as far as slicing, man, this thing has no problem slicing. So, for this particular food prep, I would say there's nothing wrong with it. All right, we gotta put all our little pieces together. I'm gonna touch this with my nose. No, don't touch it with your nose.